Hi everybody, in this video I'm showing you a comprehensive guide for my Titan build. The guys I did for so far is T11, which I did pretty easy. There are some bosses which of course I just need to be aware of when it comes to position and damage. And once I ramp up the speed, it's going to be even easier, which is my next step in my build in order to make the build more responsive and of course higher attack speed, higher DPS. So yeah, so overall, again, even against bosses, even some tough bosses, they can hit very hard, like this one, for example. This was, I think, the hardest for me among everything, because again, it has lots of crazy, AoE deal massive damage, and the minions that comes at me. So kind of I need to mix between melee and range. So basically this build, when it comes to clearance, very fast. You can use Sunder. You can also just jump into enemies and get the point, and then just one click and eliminate a group of enemies very, very fast. You have great traversal, fast traversal with a shield movement, and also high speed with a boost, so allows you to traverse the map fast. And also some abilities for zoning, which basically kind of covers lots of things that can deal problems for you in the game. So in a nutshell, this is a Titan build, which I'm having a shield in two-handed weapon on the other slot, focusing on high block chance, high armor, and of course try to maximize resistances as fast as I can. This means that as I progress, I prioritize keeping the resistances up and the defenses rather than focusing on damage. So let's jump into it. I think one of the most important things to note is that the most important thing you should do is invest in defenses, and the reason for that is if you prioritize damage, you eventually find out that most of the time you're getting hit so much that you're going to run away and evade getting hit, and basically at this time you won't actually dealing any damage, so damage is actually reduced and you also become vulnerable. So this is a lose-lose situation. So the way I approached it is basically focusing everywhere I can to increase my resistances, even at the cost of something that I really wanted to be at a certain item. And the reason for that, well, not all of the time you're going to get what you want. Most of the time you won't get what you want, and sometimes it won't be optimal. Of course, the idea is to try to make it better, but it doesn't work most of the time, right? You have some sacrifices in items. So the first thing I think that made a huge change is actually increasing the block. Now I went in the tree in order to be able to hold a two-hand and a shield, but I recommend having a shield straight from the beginning. It's very useful to block hits. This is what makes you so durable. Of course, there are ways to not use it, but in my build I use it, and the moment I start using it and I got the shield with high base block chance, from that point on it was pretty easy to ramp the block chance up. I'm going to show you in the tree soon, and basically become very durable. Now when it comes to my gear, as of now, the most important thing for me is having high on my weapon, high physical damage. And this means that when it comes to increase physical damage in percentage, and also if you get increment, regular increment, that could be good as well. But you can see here that I actually got 2 of them, which significantly increased my physical damage. So this was a high priority. Then the other things are pretty much secondary, although you can really benefit from increased attack speed. Sometimes you don't need to invest a lot in the tree and go into different branches that don't increase the attack speed or the skill speed, which you won't do later on because you already have it on your weapon. You might go a different path, which would be nice, because to get this into the tree you need to invest in several points in order to do that. So it's really nice to have it on the weapon. Shield, try to get one with highest block chance. This is very high priority for shields, and trust me, this is a game changer. This will make you so durable. So prioritize first of all block chances, then other defenses. You can see that also maximum life, which is nice. It's not high, but again, if you get it with high maximum life, this is also great. Physical reduction is amazing if you get it, because this is kind of a flat increment of physical damage reduction, which in order to get it you need to invest quite a lot in order to get it by 6. So having that is also great. And other than that, of course, you can try to find ones with resistances. This is actually a good drop, overall a good drop in terms of all the stats. As you can see, I put there extra fire resistance, high block chance. Overall, this is a very good shield to begin with, and yeah, I was lucky to get this. Still looking for a better one, but it's a very good one. In terms of, by the way, if you press Alt, you can actually see the tier on the right, T5, T5, T6, T5. All right, so of course you want to make sure that you're going to have the highest one. Then if you want to revolve the numbers, you're going to revolve it in those brackets. So make sure that you know, if you get a drop, pay attention also to the tier, so you know actually what the range of numbers you actually fall in and what the numbers actually are in relation to the maximum that you can achieve. In terms of helmet, I would prioritize things related to resistances. If you have the option to get one with several resistances, this is the best thing to have. Other than that, something that increases life, you can see I have 61. Then everything else for other defenses, but resistances are very, very important here. If you go with crit damage, you can also put things related to crit damage. Other than this, everything else is secondary. But you can see I have fire resistance, high fire resistance, and lightning resistance, which this is the main reason I'm actually using them, right? So this is, I got double here. I can increase it even more by 1, but I haven't done so just yet. Here, for example, this is just basically patching things up. The most important thing for me here was actually increasing the armor, because this is an incremental for the armor. If you look at the left side, armor 65, if I remove it, 62, right? So this is like a 3% by just having this on the amulet, right? So depends on what you're going. Again, here, because I'm a warrior, having the percent armor is very, very good. Unless you go something with evasion and armor, you can focus on something on that, but this is very important. Then something that can increase your life can be good. I don't have it here. If you go with spirit, can also be useful because you can use buffs, so this is a really good place to have it, so prioritize on that. Yeah, other than everything else is quite secondary. I also have cold resistances. This is actually kind of patchy one, but hopefully I found something better. I use the rings in order to basically you can use the rings for increasing the damage. But I actually needed it in order, that's why I mentioned before, I needed it in order to patch my resistances out. So this is why I actually use it. And so you can see that I have all elemental resistances here. And the other thing, all elemental resistance, 26 elemental resistances, which is great. I have mana regen, which is nice. Increased fire damage is also good for me, but not really great. But the reason I use it is because of all elemental resistance. And that's why I mentioned that if you get something like that, it can be very useful until you get it for something better. This is used here for I have here lightning resistance, fire resistance, and cold resistance. Also increment of mana, which I benefit from because I'm going to spam a bit later on more of my attacks, and I need lots of mana, and also mana regen. So this is also very good. So again, though you can use them for other things, this was very good to ramp up my resistances. So I can be even on extra, as you can see on the left, with I'm overflowing there with 91, 100, 104. So this can be very useful, once it gets down. In terms of armor, focus on resistances and try to maximize your life and mana, and then focus on defenses. What I did here, as you can see, I tried to find one with high armor. This is a big difference. So if I remove it, look at the armor, 65 now, 41. So this is a huge buff to your armor. This is where you get lots of armor from. So try to maximize this as well. You can, of course, increase it with quality as well, which I've done to some degree, plus 13% quality. I also have here lightning resistance and life, but all that doesn't really matter. I also put chaos resistances to lift it up, because I knew that I'm going to stay with it quite a while compared to other things that I might going to change relatively soon. I decided to put it here. In terms of hand, this is where I'm probably going to make a change. The reason I'm still holding it is because of the chaos. Usually here you should prioritize resistances and try to maximize life and mana. But because I got Chaos 23, I use it, as I mentioned, because it's really good to have those resistances up, including Chaos. It's less common, but in some situation you're going to find yourself it can be really damaging. So it's very useful to have everything up. That's why I use it. The reason I really like the 23 strength is because I'm using the double, the two-hand here and the shield, and because of the perk on the passive tree, I need very high triple the amount of requirement strength that I have here. So I need 330, I have 357, but if I change a weapon, it's higher, then I don't have the option on it to actually reduce the requirements for the weapon. I need a lot of strength in order to use it. This is why extra strength will be very useful. Probably this is something that I won't be able to do if I get a good drop and I need to invest more, and probably take time. So yeah, this is kind of very volatile because I'm really relying on getting something that has relatively low strength. But as you progress, you're going to get ones with higher strength, and maybe so it might be you won't be able to use it unless you're going to invest in strength. So this is really good to have this in terms of other things, because otherwise you won't be able to use high grade weapons that you want to use. You're going to get drops. Here, the reason I use here again, I prioritize here resistances and increasing my mana and life on the belt other than anything else. I also have ones with high armor, but it's not the highest priority here. So because I'm already investing in armor increment in the tree, so basically chaos again plus 23%. This is great. Other than this, really extra mana is nice. The other thing is not really important for me because I got the resistances here. I'm using it. If I get something else better, I'm gonna use it. But again, look at it, 63 chaos. This is great. So I'm using it so far. All that makes me very durable because the priority is maximizing resistances and armor and block. All right, basically everything defenses. All right, so this is again interchangeable, depends on what I need. This is why I keep several of them. And if I want to make changes, you can see this is I have 60% chaos, and I have, for example, this one with 30% fire, just in case I, in certain levels I need to switch quickly and I don't want to go back to spend, going back. I can just switch it into something and, have it here. This is very convenient for the warrior. If you're locating the ascendancy tree, you have the option to get this drawer. So if you get it, it can be very useful. This is, for example, for extra cold damage. This also has armor, but it's not a high priority for me. So, just in case I need the extra cold resistance, lightning resistance to patch things up. If I get another drop, I have the items to do so. But I always need to keep the balance between resistances, high armor, and high block chance. Right? So, this is here. Regarding the abilities, in terms of gameplay, I'm going to show you gameplay in a moment. I prioritize in jumping into enemies and getting the ability to stun them, with this dot, and then one hit and I can eliminate a group of enemies like instantly. It's just so powerful because then I'm going to do the bone shatter, and I'm going to get overkill, going to explode, and their explosion is going to deal damage relative to their health to nearby enemies, and basically all of them are going to be gone in just a split of a second. So this is actually a good way to kind of cramp lots of enemies together, jump on them, and make them explode. You clear things very, very fast with it. Leap Slam, again, I use in certain situations. First of all, if I want to disengage, and if I want to engage, what I mentioned, because I leap into them. So I use the Leap Slam to get the dots. And also when kind of overwhelmed and lots of enemies around me and I can't do a lot, I basically just jump up and then I get the dots and then I can attack. Sometimes also kind of a stagger them for like 2 seconds, and then I can react, either disengage or just getting the dots and execute it with Bone Shatter if I'm getting overwhelmed. This is my range one of Sunder. I use it a lot, by the way. This allows you to keep distance, especially if you're trying levels that are a bit hard, or you need to keep a distance for your from a boss or for enemies. This is very, very good. I haven't invested a lot in increasing the area damage and everything, but this is probably something I'm going to do next, because right now it works very well. So this is why I haven't upgraded it yet, but the damage is there. You're going to see it soon in a moment when I show you the passive skills. Otherwise I'm using it here, but in Q I don't need it twice. But yeah, basically I'm using it on right click right now. The other thing is Bone Shatter I mentioned. Shield Wall, very useful if you get again overwhelmed, or you want to prepare, for example, in certain situation where you trigger enemies and you want to make sure you are behind something, or there are lots of projectiles, for example. alongside your block chance, you basically become like invincible if you put it. Nothing can actually hit you. Although some projectiles, of course, can pass through it, and of course, it has kind of a HP of its own, so basically it can break. But in many situations, it can be very useful if you get overwhelmed, and you can use it strategically to just cramp enemies around it, and then bam, you just hit them and all at once. So very good to kind of allow enemies to cramp around the wall and then eliminate them altogether. By the way, if you shoot through the wall will get destroyed. That part that you are shooting at, it has several parts. Shield charge is for traversal. By the way, I haven't mentioned here with the lags. Let me just check. In terms of the lags, I really wanted movement speed. I have something else, but I prioritize every movement speed. This is very important for me for first clearance, and of course being able to, some enemies are slow, but if I'm slow with them, I can't really disengage it properly. Having this one is very, very good, so I prioritize movement speed. And then of course resistances. It's really nice to have cold, because this is exactly what I wanted to patch things up, and I was happy to actually get it by rolling this modifier. Yeah, other than that, you can focus also things related to mana, which is not good here, unfortunately, and something that increases your life. But overall, speed here, this is the way. However, this allows you, if you don't get it, still keep in mind that you can actually do shield charge as well. I use it mainly for, if you want to, just clear the map fast, for traversal. But there are some good synergies here, but I don't use them in my build yet. So basically what I do is just using it for traversal. Later on, I'm going to use other synergies. This is the Armor of the God, basically a boss slasher, or any high-end enemy that you want to eliminate. I have 2 of them. Long cooldown, but if you use it properly, it will be enough. So, if you miss one, you have the other one. If you have one with the shield, or you can just put the one with the shield and then the other one will hit. Very, very powerful, and I buffed it up as much as I can, to deal lots of damage and clear either a group of enemies first, which is a situation you will need to deal with, or bosses and basically high level enemies, right? So this is it. I'm just going to go. You can pause if you like, so you can see the stats here. All right, now let's go. Before we go to the passive skill, let's go to the skill panel. So I can increase this one. Basically what I want to do, and the reason I have, because if I want to replace this, because this is replaceable quite easily for me, I can go with the hands, which is again increase further attack speed, but I still need the mana to be extra in order to, I mean, it works well. I'm going to show you in the tree, but I still need extra in order before I actually jump into it. Unless I'm going to get something with extra speed on the hands, which I don't have something good right now. Basically, if I put it and we look at the passive, the skill panel, you can see 10k, close to 11k. If I put it right now, it jumps to 13.5. This is very, very good. This is just expedited the attack. Now, if you have also skill speed, which is additive to the attack speed, you can just do lots of Sunders, but it consumes lots of mana as well, especially if you have extra things that consume. Let me see here, Sunder. Right, you see you have cost multiplier. So if you have cost multiplier, right, basically it costs you more mana, and basically you can just deplete it fast. This is why you want more mana and more regen in order for it to work well. I'm still not there completely. This is why I'm waiting, but you can see in terms of damage, it can be very, very powerful once you release it. And it's also make your build just become more responsive. And this is like the next step for me that I need to do, either both, either in the skill tree, an item, or both, which probably I'm going to do both. I need more points, which I'm going to release soon, by the way. I'm still not optimized just yet. All right, so you can also see that when we come to, I'm just going to go over, you can actually pause. Basically this, I'm dealing lots of damage with my just regular attack, which is crazy, and I use it a lot. I want to also make sure that I'm going to break if I do regular attacks, so I can follow it by Bone Shatter. I can upgrade more, which I'm going to do today, because I have the items. This is Armor of the Gods. This is key. You can see this is close to 30 DPS. This is something I'm going to upgrade as well. This is I'm gonna have it once I get more. I actually have the item which I can use, but it's not really great for me for survivability, so I need to make changes. So in terms of passive skill tree, this is something I want to get out from here, so I can invest it. Already kind of making changes. Now I thought about getting from here and get 30% increased damage hits against ignited enemies, but the thing is that when I look at the tree, there's much bunch of things very close to me. Again, I'm going to take things out from here and probably from mana here, and I'm probably going to get this one out and going to focus on getting to this bunch. This significantly going to increase the damage, especially when I do a handed and have a shield. So you can see this is a increased physical damage, 18 increased physical damage, 25% increased physical damage. This is breaking armor, which can also of course be very good. All of them are really good here. Probably going to focus on damage first while holding a shield, which I do. Extra block chance, already maxed out, but this allows you to max it out. Increased damage per 1% chance to block. Right, so we're talking about 73. This is a huge deal. So this is something I'm probably going to go first, aiming here this direction, like that, and getting here. And here also lots of buffs for two-handed weapons, which I have 18%, 18%, 80%, 18% here. All right, because of course it doesn't matter here. Increased area, which is nice to have for me. Extra strength, which I need, by the way, if I get a better weapon. So I need to start incrementing them. Damage with two-handed weapons. The extra reduce attack speed, but at the cost of increased damage with two-handed weapon, 40%. This is going to significantly increase my damage. So probably going to go in this direction. This is all bunches are really powerful. Now, once you understand that I'm using two-handed in one slot, is because I have two main things here that can define the build. Basically, you can wield two-handed axes, maces, and sword in one hand, triple attribute requirements of weapons. So, as I mentioned, here the requirements is 110, so triple that is 330. So you need to have strength 330 minimum in order to do that. Otherwise, it just won't work. So this is very important, especially if you get gear later on, which is maybe 170 something. You're gonna need a lot of strength in order to do that. All right, this is why it's important if you get something good later early on that has low, or one which has an option to lower the requirement, which is a perk. This is why it's very important. If you have one with lower perks, don't throw it away. It might be very good if you're going with this setup, because you might be able to use it. Otherwise, you might not be able to use it, or use it maybe much later on. But of course, in order to have this, you need to go to invest in this. So this is 4% strength. This is the inventory. Increased strength. All right. So this also increased the strength, so you have more. And 50% increased effect of all small passive skills, all the little ones. So this, for example, get 50%, all right, 7.5. So all these will have 50% more in terms of volume. This is how you can actually get to very high strength, all right? Alongside, of course, other nodes that you have, like here, for example, 25, 12, 12, 12, 12. This allows me to gather pretty fast. All right, so yeah, and the other thing is that because I want to not worry about not hitting enemies, this is very important for me for clearance. I don't need the critical hit chance in order to do that. It was fine at the beginning against certain bosses, but really, it's not really useful here for clearance. So having no hits can be evaded is great, because you are, kind of, enemies that can evade you. It's a nightmare with the warrior. So here you can actually not worry about that, but you don't deal critical hits. Who cares? Again, if you don't deal the damage, you can take more time to clear, and you're just in danger, and then you need to reposition, running away, and you deal less damage overall. Again, you are in bad situation. This is why being able to hit with a warrior, especially when you're close range, is essential. This is why it's so important to have this one. Again, of course, there can be different builds, but for my build, it's very important. So in terms of when you go, first of all, when you start, just go with the armor to armor. It goes a long way. This is for much later. Don't branch here yet. Just go and focus on. I go with life regen and increasing the damage, and then also block chance. So you can branch from here and then go a bit investing here. Once you get shield, good shield, also invest here. This is also can be good for life regen, really helps me out a bit early on. This is, forget about this. I'm going to cancel here. I'm going to go invest it somewhere else, all of this. Extra fire damage because you want to ignite enemies. Again, it's not fire focus, but give me the extra damage. It's not a must, but at the beginning, but you can go there. Block chance, very good. This can be also very good to prevent you from dying in certain attacks, while also giving you extra health, so this can be good as well. Increased damage, this can be will buff in damage. And this is for later on, once you need really lots of extra strength, and you get this one for the triple, so this is for later. This is block chance, so you can just go here and get it. This is also good once you get here, get this one. Really helps putting those hits, otherwise it's going to be a nightmare. Unless you have, things with evasion, with high accuracy. But my build is not focused on that. This is increased damage, very good as well. Here I'm actually getting this one with increased damage. You also have the socket here for Jejewel, don't forget to use that. And a bit later, if you want to focus on the on the two-handed with the armor, which is great for both damage and having great survivability, durability, being tanky, this is a great one to have. But then you need to maybe first branch into here, or maybe change some of the small nodes, and by then you should already be invested in here to increase the strength and go here for increment. And then once you do that, you might be able to go here and then just go and invest here, and maybe change some of the nodes that you may be balanced throughout to change them to strength. It depends again how you progress, and then branch here in order to this is why I did it. Yeah, you also have extra strength here. All right, so this is also very good for increasing strength. This is why I went through it, because of the extra strength. Yeah, this is also something I can go, but in terms of mana, I didn't want to. It's also possible, but I prefer investing somewhere else. But again, once you invest in extra strength and you have enough for the weapon, depends on your minimum requirements. You might be able to do it less, or even further down the road. That depends on the minimum requirements for your weapon in terms of strength. Then you're able to branch here and go to Giant's Blood. Yes, so overall it works very well for me. The only huge difference will come once I ramp up the speed of the attack speed and the skill speed. Then it's going to be crazy, and this is the thing that I'm going to do next, hopefully today or tomorrow. And this will kind of because the core itself is great, I just need extra speed. Thanks for watching.